Two, I'm at my familiar location, which is the Grove. This is a very exclusive area. I film some of my YouTube videos here. And today is going to be another very interesting special YouTube video. This one's going to be called Sex Game, the News Lady versus the Cheerleader. Or I'm going to call it Sex Game, Sex with News Lady versus the Cheerleader. Now this is going to be what they call a half and half video, where I take two types of women that men find physically sexually attractive, and I do a compare and contrast video, and I explain, you know, the good, the bad, the advantages and the disadvantages of both types of women. Now, the reason why I started to do half and half is because they're new ideas. They're new concept. I would like to call them concept videos. Something that's very brand new, actually. Now, I did talk about this on my old channel. I could make one about the woman that's in athletic shape versus the woman that's, you know, fat, but that's been done to death. And most men do have a crush on cheerleaders. Most men have a crush on the news lady. And I felt like it would be a nice opportunity to bring that into this video and talk about, you know, the news lady and the cheerleader. Now, these right here are by far the most physically, sexually attractive women that most men like. Let's start with the news lady. Now, the news lady is a woman that you see on TV that's always drop dead gorgeous. Like, let's use Channel 2, Channel 7, and Channel 9 News as a prime example. A lot of times when men don't watch television, they have to use beautiful, attractive women to make you watch. And the woman is usually between the ages of 20 to 29 years old. And if she looks good in them skirts, then you know, that's when you'll pay attention to the news. You know, when they get to the sports, they gotta have a female broadcaster, they gotta have a female news lady, and she gets to have access to all the sports: basketball, football, baseball, hockey, you know, soccer, tennis, whatever the sport is. You know, sports and entertainment, you know, television and film and sports. And usually she's at the games, live, looking sexy, looking hot, makes men pay attention. And most men, if they ever could play basketball and football professional-wise, they would try to date the news lady, you know, take her out to lunch and dinner. And it does actually happen in real life. And the reason why I'm making this is because a lot of guys focus so much energy on, I want the supermodel, I want the actresses, but they seem to forget that the news lady sometimes don't have nobody to ask her out to lunch and dinner. And sometimes the athletes, if you want to be unpredictable, this is what you would be doing. Now, the sex in the bedroom with the news lady, it's pretty much what you see in the movies and the television shows. It is the NBA Finals. It is the Super Bowl. It is the World Series. It is the Soccer World Cup. It is the Stanley World Cup. It is WrestleMania. You can be very, very interesting with these women. Trust me. And they're not closed off. They're actually open-minded to experimentation. You know, if you tell a news lady, I want to take you to a swingers club, she'll do it, because most news ladies are hypergamous. It's no secret. I already made a video about it. And they like the idea of getting hit on by professional athletes. It's usually the guys that work at the network that get what they call a sexual harassment claim, because he's trying to copy and imitate the basketball or football player that she interviewed. Like, let's say, I'm going to give you a good example. Let's say a news lady interview somebody like Tom Brady, who's gone to what, 8 or 9 Super Bowls, and he's won 5 or 6 Super Bowl championships. She wants to talk to the Super Bowl MVP who's won 5 or 6 championships in professional football. She doesn't want to talk to a news executive or television executive producer necessarily, because he's not rich and famous. He's not high value enough for her to find him physically, sexually attractive. So when he be trying to ask her out to lunch and dinner, she finds it as annoying and it's irritating. And then she has to go to H&R and file a complaint a total of 3 to 5 times, 6 times, and they got to tell them, well, just because you're an executive producer or a television producer or a news personality, that doesn't mean she like you like that. And usually the guy's angry and jealous because when she gets the news assignments that he gives her, she always messes with the basketball and football players. So then he starts blackmailing her. I'll cause you to lose your career, not job, career, because you won't let me take you out to lunch and dinner. And a lot of times in those stories, when the woman's at a network for about 5 years, 10 years on average, she has to let her boss take her out to lunch and dinner. Now, that doesn't mean she find him physically, sexually attractive. What that means is she has to say yes, or she ain't got no career. Now, once she start getting offers from Fox Sports West or ESPN, First Take, or a show like that, she gets away from that person, and then she drops the bean. She drops the bomb on the guy. And the reason why I'm telling you the bad stuff is because there's some good stuff, but then there's some bad stuff. So, and you see, the news lady does have some power. She does have some connections. She has access to sports and entertainment. Even in the music industry, most women don't mind if it's a Lil Wayne or a Drake. So yes, the news lady can be hypergamous. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this into the video is because I don't want guys saying, well, Alex said you could mess with the news lady, and then someone else tells you in another video he said you could holler at the news lady, but he should have put this in the video. So I got to put the good and the bad in the video. I got to do the compare and contrast. I have to. Because you got other YouTubers who watch these videos, and what they look for is for someone like me to make mistakes so they can make what they call a rebuttal video and say, man, it's a good video, but there's 5 things you got wrong. Or this is what you should have included in the video. Or you should have not said this in the video. There's always someone looking at your videos. So that's why I'm saying it. And this happens a lot. And a lot of these guys be lawyers, bank investors. They also be trying to hit on, some of these news ladies. One of the most popular news ladies in the news community is the Hispanic lady that works for Channel 52. Now, she has been hit on by a number of athletes. Professional basketball players, football players, baseball players, soccer players, professional wrestlers. And guess what? She has actually dated them. She has actually dated all of them. They've all taken her out to lunch and dinner. And whatever happens after that, happens after that. And then there's also been talks, not now, but like 10 or 11 years ago, there were talks that not all the athletes, but some of the television executive producers got accused of sexual harassment because they thought that just because the athletes could do it, they can do it. So that's the good and the bad of messing with the news lady. Now, they will do whatever type of sex you want in the bedroom, but these women are hypergamous. And I'm saying it because you might get some inspired television producers or executive producers who think, well, I got the highest position in television news, she should want me. No, if she sees a professional basketball player or a football player or a baseball player, that's who she wants 90% of the time. Same thing when it's college sports. If it's an older woman that's in her 30s or 40s or 50s and she's doing the news, she's going to want a college basketball player, a college football player that's in his 20s that she finds physically, sexually attractive. And just because you're a guy that does college sports, pro sports, with conjunction of music and entertainment, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the same opportunity. See, there's a rule that most of us fail to forget when we go to the workforce. And that is 85 to 90% sometimes on average, a woman does not want to date guys from her job. Most of us have forgot that rule even existed. And some of the executive television producers who work at these huge news outlets and organizations, they seem to forget that themselves and go, but I got the highest position. Yeah, but if there's someone that's making 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 million dollars, that's who she wants. Even if it's a multi-billionaire, again, that's who she prefers. So yeah, so you got to be very careful when you try to get your mac on with the news lady. But the news lady can get very sexual. She can get very freaky. She can go from being this nice, innocent, casual girl that you see on television and just morph into the freak. She'll do things that are only described in porn. Like, she got the handcuffs, she'll blindfold you, she'll gag you. She'll pour candle wax all over you. She'll tie you up. She'll get the role playing. Like I said, they're into experimentation. You know, you want to have a threesome or a foursome, they're down for it. That's if you're, Lil Wayne or Drake. That's if you're Tom Brady. They're down for it. Now, if you're an executive producer at a news television broadcast company, good luck. Because then you get hit with sexual harassment claims. And then you got the police coming to your doorstep talking about, we're going to have to investigate this. Now, the only time the athletes get hit with these claims is if you dump her for her girlfriend that works at the same company. And I'm going to do a revised version of There's No Such Thing of the Girl Code, because a lot of people will be saying it's the girl code, and I'm going to explain why there is no girl code. And the reason why I say I'm going to explain why there's not, and a completely separated YouTube video, is to explain to the women in that particular video why there really is no such thing. And that's why I say they'll have threesomes, they'll have foursomes. You can take some of these news ladies to swinger clubs. They're fascinated by that lifestyle. But that's if you're rich and famous and you are a professional athlete. You got to make 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 million dollars, because that's hypergamous at its finest. Now, on the other hand, you have the cheerleader, who also is desired by a lot of men. Usually, if you play basketball or football, by default, you can get the cheerleader, because the cheerleader is this type of girl that every guy wants. The two types of girls that guys look at as trophy wives is the news lady and the cheerleader. Now, unlike the news lady, the cheerleader, as long as you got high status and high value, you ain't got to really worry about sexual harassment claims. You play basketball or football, you already have high level status. You make it to the NBA and the NFL, you already have high level status. Now, if you're a big time executive television producer, you got the highest position in the company, you can get the cheerleader. Usually if the guy fails and gets rejected 5 or 10 times by the women at the news place, at the news company, usually just goes after the cheerleader. If she's from the age of 18 to 24, he's going to be getting younger women because he's an older man with high level status. He doesn't start thinking like this until he gets told by other guys, look, the women that work with you at this company, they don't like you like that. Date women outside the company. So if it's a cheerleader and he's interviewing the cheerleader, usually he doesn't have to be as, hung up or desperate, because if she already likes older men, he already has a big opportunity. Now, the only time a cheerleader might, hit you with some sexual harassment claims is if she herself wants the basketball and football player. And usually that's only if the executive producer, doesn't have very good mind skills. But now the sex with a cheerleader it's unpredictable, because one minute you're having sex at the house, next minute they're having sex at the park. And I've already made a video about it, but a lot of times the cheerleader wants to do things